But he came up from behind me outside my grandmother's house, and he grabbed me and he shoved me in a car. And after that, like, I was just out. Next thing I know, this happened in Rockford, Illinois. Next thing I know, I'm up by Mall of America, like Minneapolis, Minnesota. So he would have had to take me across 2 state lines in order to get there, but I was completely out of it and had no idea what was going on at that time. I'm in this little dinky hotel room.
I know you gonna dig this. Get funky with me.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Olympia, Washington, one of my favorite cities ever. I love Olympia, Washington. And I'm here staying at Kurt Cobain's house on Pear Street. Probably already put a video up, or you've seen videos in the past, maybe if you watch my channel. I love coming here and staying at Kurt's house, thanks to Kelly, who hooks it up for me every time. Now, yesterday, I was in Seattle. Well, before I get to that, well, no, okay, you need to. So yesterday, I was in Seattle, and I went to Veretta Park, which is right beside Kurt Cobain's Lake Washington house, his final address, and I met a viewer in the park, and he had a friend with him, Polly, and we were talking, and she told me she lives in a van, and I said, what? And she said, yes, I live in a van, I travel city to city, and well, we're going to get more into that, and I thought, that's really interesting. So she found out I was staying here, and she's like, I've always wanted to see inside the apartment. I said, come down. Of course, my friend Aaron and I are staying here. You're more than welcome to come and take a look inside, because she's a huge Nirvana fan like myself. Now, I have another friend named Big Bake on the Move. He's got a channel. It's great, true crime, lots of stuff. Big Bake came to my house in Toronto once, stayed for a weekend. We went to a hockey game. The Leafs, they won that time. And Leafs roll, go Leafs. And he said, hey, do you ever watch van channels? I was like, what? So he put some video on my screen, my YouTube. And we watched a bit of a van life video, people living in vans. And then, I guess YouTube, I don't know how it works exactly, and I'm on YouTube, but they seem to think I like van videos. From then on, for the next 2 weeks, all I was getting suggested was people living in vans. And I called Big Bacon, and I said, dude, that's all I'm getting. Like, where's my Office clips? Where's my Eminem videos? So, I had that little bit of a thing with vans. I was watching them for a bit. I found it fascinating. And then I met Polly, and she lives in a van. So she's right outside of Kurt's house right here. There's my friend Aaron sitting on the front stoop, just hanging out. There's Kurt Cobain's place. You'll watch other videos on my channel. But let's meet Polly, who lives in a van and drives all around the United States of America. What are you looking at? Here she is. This is Polly.
Hi.
Polly, what's going on?
Well, so I've been living in this van since, well, not this van specifically, but January 2021.
Okay.
I moved into a van. This is my second van.
Second van.
Yes, my second van.
Now, we should say you're a big Nirvana fan. Let's take a look at that guitar.
I am a huge Nirvana fan. I kind of travel all around the Pacific Northwest. Anytime there's a Nirvana event, I am definitely in attendance, ear to the ground all the time, trying to find out what's going to happen next. Yeah.
So you, from the Midwest, because I called it yesterday. As soon as you said a few words, I was like, you're from the Midwest. I almost said Chicago. So you grew up in Chicago?
Area.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Rockford, actually. The
So,
land of Cheap Trick.
2020, is 2021?
January 2021. August of 2020, a natural disaster hit my city and wrecked my house to the point where it wasn't worth it for me to repair. And so I was like, what am I going to do now? And my children all grew up and moved out during the pandemic. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to see all of America and get to go to all the national parks and stuff. And I always wanted to see all of the Nirvana things around here. And before Seattle sinks into the sea, I wanted to make sure I got out here and did it.
So so I'm going to ask a bunch of questions because I've got a bunch. Now, and not to be too personal, but you work in cities, like you go from city to city and get a job, and then when you've had enough, you go to the next one and you find another job.
I was working in the shipping industry, which made that really easy because like there's always shipping work, and a lot of times I could just transfer to a different location with the company I was already with. But I came here and I ended up working sort of as like support staff for like a small internet startup company. They sell hats on the internet. So, you know, it's been really easy. I just make my hats all day, and then on the weekend or when I'm off, I go and I do all these fun things and go to national parks and stuff.
That's wild. So mostly where, like, you stay in parking lots, or where do you stay? Where can you park your van overnight?
Near to parks. I like to stay like by lakes and stuff, places where there's a lot of activity going on already. Usually community areas,
right?
But I keep myself very contained and quiet and don't leave any traces behind.
Right.
And you know, there's neighborhoods that I stay in quite frequently, and they've accepted me as just a part of the neighborhood because I'm there and I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right.
So,
and you want to stay in a fairly populated area overnight, so it's safe.
Yes.
So you're safe.
Yes.
I worry. I'm just me, but I worry. Like, you know what I mean?
I did get my window busted out and had to chase off a couple of guys a couple months ago.
Oh my God.
Yep. But you know,
be careful.
I was successful.
Okay. Yeah, something like that worries me. Now, and so for me being somewhat or completely a diva, I would be like, I need a hair dryer in the morning, shower. You got bath and body.
I don't need any of that.
You're just
No, I've got 2 solar powered battery packs. And since I got back from Chicago about a month ago, I went for a visit. I haven't had to plug into anything to charge my batteries at all. I've just been harvesting all of my energy off of the sun.
What?
Yep.
That's wild. Good for you.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, before we see the inside of the van, let's see this guitar.
Yeah, so here's the Nirvana guitar. It's an old Fender from 1983.
You've been putting this together. You just add stuff to it all the
Since
time.
I was 11 years old.
Oh,
so I've
no
had
way.
This for a really, really long time. Yep. Like 1992, 93 when I bought it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's got multiple layers, like over time, as my taste in Nirvana continued to grow, I just kept layering it. When the journals were released, I put some of the...
I even see a picture I've never seen of Kurt right there. I don't think I've ever seen that picture before.
That definitely came out of a magazine.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the wind's starting to pick up.
Yeah, it is. So you've got it decorated like a house, like, you know.
Yeah, and I built all of this myself too. This was just a...
what is this?
This blocks the back here. So this is basically what's called a garage. All of my tools, my firewood, my backup supplies, and my dirty laundry all stay back here where they're not gonna like be mingling with other stuff. And then I put this up in front of it. That way nobody can hear me. Like, so there's all this insulation. Now, mind you, I started in the Chicago area and I was in Wisconsin for a good while. So I had to be very, very well insulated. You can see how thick this is even. All of the whole shell.
So essentially what you're saying, I'm so slow. Winterized.
Yes,
basically.
It is winterized. Yeah, it's very, very winterized. That was really important. And this is what's called a no-build build. So all of this can just come out really super easy. This whole thing could be pulled out. Everything could be emptied within like 20 minutes.
Right, you got a little girl there.
To use this. Yeah.
And then firewood, you build a fire somewhere wherever you go. You use the firewood.
Yeah, there's a campground I like where sometimes I go and I have my campfires. But yeah, so you can pull everything out of here within 20 minutes and turn it back into like a working van.
Right, and here's your bed.
Yep, this is my bed.
It looks really comfortable.
It is pretty comfortable. I've been princess in the peeing it. I just keep adding layers.
Princess in the peeing it. And look, this is really cool what you've done here.
Oh yeah, that is really cool. It's like a fairy garden. It's probably going to be difficult for you to see the whole thing, but yeah, it lights up and it's got all these little characters and stuff up there.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely scent. What is that? Do you spray it with something, or is that just? Do you smell? You're probably used to it.
Probably any sort of assortment of different incenses and
Could be
body
something.
sprays.
Yes, it smells really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got a sunroof or whatever you call it.
I have 2 sunroofs. There's that one that's actually an escape hatch and a sunroof. And then the one back there is smaller, and that's a max air fan and a little sunroof.
When you say escape hatch, do you actually consider that just in case an escape hatch?
Yes, you have to have an escape hatch.
In case of
Just
intruders or
something
fire or anything.
all sorts of things. If you get in an accident, you need to get out of there quickly. You need an escape hatch.
All vans like this come with those?
I installed that.
Really?
Yeah, I had to cut a hole in the roof and install that. My mother helped. It was quite the adventure. But it was my second time doing it. I had done one on my old van too. So.
Do you have a fridge and a microwave?
I have a cooler, and then I have an induction hot plate.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see that when we go in here.
Now wait a minute. So do you have to fill up the cooler with ice all the time?
Yes.
Because I used to travel with the cooler when I first started YouTube, and it just goes to water in half a day,
especially in the summertime.
Yeah, you got to keep replacing it.
Like when I'm at work during the week, I tend to store things in the refrigerator at work,
right?
And then I'll put them all into my cooler before I go off and do my fun stuff during the weekend. But yeah, all of these things all over the wall are from places I've gone.
Let's take a look. Let's go that way.
I've got like a bunch of more that I need to put on there. In order to get in, we'll have to go through the driver's side.
Yeah.
I put cameras all over it after somebody busted my window.
These are cameras.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything.
Oh, this is crazy. This is a big thing to drive around.
It is.
Not a lot of.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Like, I mean, there's no rear view, obviously.
You want to pull that door shut?
Yeah, sure.
So that nobody takes it off.
There's not a lot of.
So this is the 2500.
Oh, look at this.
Though. The larger one is the 3500,
Oh,
and that one would be very difficult to get in and out of places.
Right.
So I chose the smaller one because I like to go to national parks and
Mm-hmm.
I like to go to like Bighorn River Canyon or whatever it was. I never could have fit in there with a 3500.
You got a book collection. Where's your food?
So this is a lot of my food. We got a bag of mushrooms.
You gotta eat more than that, my girl.
So,
you got some bread.
Here's the one cooler and here's the smaller cooler. So vegetables go in here because they don't need that much ice. Like, they just need to be cool. And then like food goes in here. So like I got stir fry and some chicken in there right now.
So if you want to,
here's my barbells for when I'm working out. Like I got yoga equipment in here and stuff.
Yeah. I got yoga equipment. I like the way you said that.
Yeah, they're all set up.
There's your hot plate.
Yep, this is my little induction hot plate stove. Little fan.
Clothing here.
Yep, that's all my clothes.
Okay. You really downsized, obviously, your life after.
Very, very much downsized.
Like you must have you had a house, so
yes,
and a family.
I got rid of
kids.
There was this girl, and she was just starting up her life. She had very young children, and I was like, I'll sell you everything. It was a trailer. And everything inside of it, all the appliances, and most of what I owned, all of my furniture. I was like, $4,000, just take it. And then I took that $4,000. I got my first van.
Now, what about you don't need a microwave? Not something you think about?
No. This is good enough for me.
And if you want to come in, if you want to relax, you can't sit there because you sit there all day driving. Just come and sit here.
Yeah, I'll pile all these pillows. That's why I have like the sloth and stuff. Pile all that up there, and then just sit on it like a couch. And I've got a projector, and I'll project movies and stuff up here on this white part of the wall.
Lay back here and watch the movies here.
Yep.
Or watch whatever here.
Yep.
What, from your phone? You stream from your phone?
I have a little projector. So, believe it or not, right now I have a VCR.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier because you guys have been cool.
Projector screen so that I can try to.
Now, what about DVDs or whatever? But can you stream?
I do have some DVDs. DVDs are down here.
Nice. So do you put stuff from your phone? The Nirvana, Sid and Nancy, you got good taste. Man on the Moon, come on. Best soundtrack ever.
I got this from right here. This is
what's that?
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh my God, of course. Althea.
Yeah, no, she nailed it in that.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
So you're a big Milos Forman fan. You got 2 Milos Forman movies there.
I'm a big Baz Luhrmann fan.
Oh, yeah.
Actually. Like, that's my favorite director.
So, we got some pictures of Nirvana there. And over
yeah, Chris gave me this.
You've met Chris?
I did. I think it's right here.
What?
He signed his book that he wrote.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I met Chris. I actually met Kim at World Music Day in Aberdeen.
Kurt's sister?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, how was that?
She's really nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep. Very nice.
So wait, and then over here we got more.
Yes, we've got a lot of places I've gone and things I've done, and then I actually still have my stuff from like the Badlands and everything because I just went there a couple weeks ago. So all of my stuff from my most recent trip is all gonna go like right there.
Right. So you're going on. This is year 4.
Yeah,
year
January 2021 to now. So.
And you're loving it. You're gonna keep doing it.
I don't think I could ever go back.
Really?
No,
Never go back to a regular life.
I don't think I could. No.
This
is the most freedom I've ever had in my entire life. This is the healthiest that I've ever been in my whole life. Like, I lost 150 pounds doing this because.
Really?
Yep, I go to the gym every day to shower. So, you know, I'm like, well, I at least got to do a little bit of a workout. So I'm not just coming in here being a, you know.
Every city you're in, you find one.
There's not a single one that I could say is like the best gym that I've been to. So, but I always got to have one with a pool and a hot tub.
That's how I live my life with hotels. I'm the same. See, we are the same.
Yeah.
Except I call down the front desk and ask for 18 more pillows because I'm a.
Well, I mean, you see how many pillows.
Yeah, we are we're more alike than I thought.
Another pillow down
yeah,
there.
so we both need a hot shower every day and a hot tub.
Yep.
I just would stress about not having a microwave, but I don't really use a microwave, but I would stress
a lot of the food that I eat is like room temperature.
Yeah,
cold anyway.
I feel like you eat probably very healthy and very like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and like sometimes I'll go camping, and when I have power, I'll make up like a big thing of chili or something.
Do you have a tent here somewhere? Like.
No, I did have one, and I did have an air mattress, and I had all these other things. And after being out here for a year and a half, I was like, you know, I don't need any of this.
Right. So, but you just said when you go camping, so you still go camping.
I just stay in here.
That's what I'm saying. So this is you're camping every day, really.
Yeah. Yep.
But you're saying if you go camp to a campsite.
Every once in a while, I'd like a little luxury camping experience.
Right.
And I'll go and I'll actually plug into real power, and I'll have a fire pit, and I'll have like water that's right on site, and that's nice to have a little bit of a. You know.
And, you know, not to be too personal again, but you still keep in touch with your kids and all that, and they keep in touch with you type of thing?
Well, you know, kids are kids, so...
Yeah, sure.
My one just had our first grandbaby, so...
You're a grandmother.
Yes, I am a grandmother. Mm-hmm.
You look 30. you look very young. So, must be van
that.
life. Must be van life, right? Keeping you young looking.
My children don't recognize me. They say that I am unaging.
Yeah, you look very, very young.
Yeah, I definitely look younger now than I did when I was in my 30s.
And you're a grandmother. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here we got just a blanket out.
Another piece of that foam board that you see. So I've covered these doors, and when I got broken into, I think part of the reason why I was able to fight them off was because it was dark, so they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know what to be expecting back here, and they couldn't make it in or out of these other doors. So they tried to come through this. It's the only small, teeny tiny. You know how hard it was for you to squeeze through there. There's a reason for that. Like anybody trying to come through there is going to have a little bit of a struggle.
Right.
3 layers of blankets blocking it, and so as they're struggling to try to figure out what's going on, like it gave me the advantage to fight them off. So.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the only problem that I've had in the entire time that I've been doing this.
You just blew my mind, Polly, because let me explain. So when we met yesterday, it was yesterday. Seems like a week ago already, but it was yesterday we met at Veretta Park, Kurt's Park, and on the fence there was a long stretch of writing by somebody by the name of Polly, who was kidnapped, and Kurt's music saved her life.
Yep.
And just now off camera, that was you that wrote that.
Yes, that was.
Both Aaron and I teared up while we were reading that, and I included that in my video about Kurt Cobain's Park.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
He gets a lot of grief for that song too, and it literally saved my life.
It saved your life.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened. You just said your conjo was sane. So what happened to you? How old roughly were you?
Approximately 20 or 21.
Okay.
Yeah, right around that.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten off work. I was working at a bar. So I think that he might have slipped something in my drink while I was at the bar because I was probably not in my right head. I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship. I kind of suspected it was my ex-boyfriend when he grabbed me. But he came up from behind me outside my grandmother's house, and he grabbed me and he shoved me in a car. And after that, like, I was just out. Next thing I know, this happened in Rockford, Illinois. Next thing I know, I'm up by Mall of America, like Minneapolis, Minnesota. So he would have had to take me across 2 state lines in order to get there. But I was completely out of it and had no idea what was going on at that time. I'm in this little dinky hotel room. He's showing me stuff on a computer about how he's going to create this magical website that's going to make him so much money, where he translates people's tattoo ideas into actual like Japanese. He's going to make Japanese tattoos, and he's going to be a billionaire, and he needs this trophy wife, right? And I'm going to be perfect for that. He'd been stalking me, and I had no idea. I had no idea somebody was stalking me, but he knew everything about my daughter. He was describing her. He said he was going to send her to boarding school, and we were going to have all these babies, and I was going to come to love him. And at this point, like, I'm severely drugged. But it was like I could hear Kurt in my head. It was like I could hear that Nirvana song playing and hear Kurt singing, and I knew that I had to like pretend.
For those who don't know, the song Polly by Nirvana. Yeah. Okay, go on.
Yep. So I was like, I need to convince this guy that, you know, yeah, I want my wings clipped. Clip them, you know, for me. I'll be yours. And so I started saying, you know, you went through all this trouble. Clearly you went through so much trouble. Like, you must be serious. And, you know, clearly you love me. And I've just been waiting for a man to rescue me. I actually told this man that he was sent to me by God, and that I had been praying for a man like him.
Wow, you had that much wherewithal to...
And he stopped drugging me. And I showed a great interest in his website and told him it was brilliant. He wanted to whisk me away to Oregon.
Oh, beautiful.
And,
okay.
you know, so that wasn't hard for me to pretend. I'm like, I've always wanted to go to that area of the country. That wasn't a lie. So I'm like, you know, and he may have known that through stalking me. He may have already known that, like, Oregon or whatever,
right.
He wanted to take
you
me to
like the
Portland.
Pacific Northwest, yeah.
Yeah. It's probably something that he knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, he stopped drugging me. I convinced him. He insisted on stopping at Mall of America before taking me back home, and bought me a cell phone.
Why was he taking you back home? He was taking you back home to let you go?
That's a part of the story I forgot.
Yeah,
So I told him, I was like, you know that I have a daughter, you know that I have all of these things going on. I can't just run away with you in the night. Like, there are loose ends that I need to tie up. You need to take me back home so that I can, you know, tie up all these loose ends, and we need to do this right. And he was like, okay, but I'm going to take you to get a cell phone first so that I can, you know, be in communication with you.
Right, yeah.
So he takes me to Mall of America and buys me this cell phone that's supposed to be us keeping in touch with each other. And the moment I got back home, I disconnected the cell phone. That's when he started calling my grandmother on the house phone and introducing himself as my fiance to my grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah, so hardcore stalking. But, like, I don't know if he was gonna sell me to somebody and decided he wanted to keep me, or if his initial, like, idea was always to keep me. Clearly he wasn't intending to let me go, and if I would have fought back, I don't know what would have happened. But
you convinced him that you were...
I convinced him to take me right back to where he dropped me on. Or, like,
what? No, wait, so did you pursue legal life? Like, did he get arrested?
I didn't tell anyone. No.
He's...
When I got home, which, no shade on my family, when I got home, I found out that my family was already deciding where my daughter was going to go, and had decided I had abandoned my kid, which was not like me. I'd never been away from her, so I don't know what their deal was. But part of me not reporting it was definitely the fact that, like, my family really just didn't seem to even care that I was gone.
Oh, wow.
You know, they definitely noticed I was missing, but their initial, like, knee-jerk reaction was that I had just, like, run away in the night and abandoned my kid. And I was like, wow. You know,
he stopped stalking you and calling you, and he just
he
stopped?
went off to Portland, Oregon, I'm assuming.
Ugh.
Yeah, because I was supposed to meet him there. And I was like, you've got to go and you've got to, you know, set all this up. And then I shut off the cell phone. And
weren't you scared he was going to come back and find you?
I left. I moved to Florida.
Oh, you moved away.
I
right
did.
Away. Okay.
That was the beginning of me running.
And you changed your name.
I did, yeah.
Yes, smart.
I changed my name, I quit my job, and I moved away to Florida.
Good for you.
I lived in Florida for a while, didn't like it, came back briefly, but I've never wanted to stay in my hometown with the abusive exes, and with that guy, I was like, I don't want to be around here. So that was officially the start of me running. I lived in Florida, I lived in Tennessee, I moved to Iowa, Wisconsin, yeah.
Right.
And now here.
Down in the van, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you move to, Paulie, that accent's never leaving. Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All right. Wisconsin.
Chicago.
You ever been to Rockford, Illinois?
Awesome.
So we're putting this, look at this. There it is. Wow. Well, we're going to stay in touch. Polly, stay safe.
Yeah, for sure.
Live life. You're living it.
I am. I could never go back to living in a house. No matter where I go, I'm home.
As long as you got one big blue ball with you to do your exercises and a sloth. Is it a sloth? Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah. I got my yoga mat right here. Yeah.
I really have to rethink a lot of my life because I live like I think I'm too much of a princess. I could do this. I could. Polly, thank you so much, and we'll give you a hug and take care of yourself. Stay safe. We'll stay in touch, guys. Link below to Polly's TikTok, and I'm trying to convince her to start a YouTube channel. I think you should.
I have one.
I think
just
you
don't use it.
I think you've got the personality for it, and you've got the lifestyle for it. But stay safe, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I will.
Thanks for watching, everybody. It's Polly. TikTok below. Peace out. All right, where's my hairdryer?